forward to the cloud. All right, go Maggie.
Okay, so hi everyone, welcome to Hack School Part 6. Today we're gonna cover even more React and Shevin will cover deployment. So it's all coming together, guys, in React Part 4. So last time we did our Pokemon card component. So right now we have our Pokemon name, type, but we still need to create a move component. So we need to, in order to render all the moves on that Pokemon card. And we need to integrate the move component into the Pokemon card. And then we also need to implement the create Pokemon APIs on submission so we can send our Pokemon data to the backend. And at the very last, we will implement drawing our Pokemon in create Pokemon and render our drawings in Pokemon card. So there's a lot to cover. It will be a lot of live coding, but we got this. So the first thing we need to do is the move component. So as you see right here, the moves will be this little section on the Pokemon card. And let me actually pull up the final demo project for us. It's taking a while to load, but here is the move. Here's the 4 moves component, and the way we're gonna approach it is that we're gonna treat this thing as a big table, and we have each move component be a row in that table. So the U move will be a row, and the rock only will be another row. The reason why we do this is that tables will automatically adjust each column width to each column content. So we don't have to worry about each like move having different lengths, such as this very short one and maybe this very long one. So here we go. I'm gonna move forward to VS Code and create a new component called move.
So everyone should follow along now.
Yeah, follow along. This will be pretty quick, but so on the source components, we'll create a new folder called move. And under move, we'll have index.jsx, the standard setup, and style.css. So the style.css, you can actually grab from the slides. I'm just trying to copy and paste it right now. So if you go on slide 4, it will be a style sheet. That's ready for you to copy and paste. Giving you guys a second to copy and paste the style. Okay, so continuing with the standard setup in Move. No, first we need to import React from React. And then we need to import our style sheet. And const move equals to, this component will take in props because we'll be passing in our name, our type, and our power. So it needs to take in props. So we'll return, leave this empty for now, and export default move. I can't type. So the content up to this point is standard setup for a React component. So inside the render statement is where we are going to put our actual content for our move. As we said before, we will make each move component a row in the table, and we will have 3 columns, each column containing different properties. So we can yank this line and paste it 3 times. So in the first column, I will share my entire screen just for the convenience of shifting back and forth between the window and the code. So we currently have 3 columns. And as we see on the demo, the first will be our type. The second one will be the name of our move, and the third will be our power. And also the second one is bolded. So the one thing we can do over here is to add the strong around whatever context we want to put in here. Remember how we access props is putting them in curly braces, and we can access them by using props dot type. So the second column will be props dot name, and the third column will have props dot power. But if you remember, in the power that we pass in is just a number, but we want to have a small nice indication that this column is gonna represent the power. So within this column, we're gonna add some text in front of our actual power. So we can simply do this by putting power column spacebar in here. So this is our move component, simple but powerful. So now that we have implemented the move component, we will have you render it in the Pokemon card. So remember last time during Hack School 5, we were rendering the Pokemon card in the View Pokemon page, and you guys will do something similar here. Just as a recap, so if you want to render a child component in a parent component, you will need to import the child component, and we get this array of React components by calling math on this data array and returning a component. So notice that one thing we have here is we added a key property. So the reason why the key property is important is that when you have many of the same type of component on a page, React, the unique keys of each child will allow React to identify which specific child did the update, so which component changed. And so in the return statement, this is kind of, I really give you a little hints over here, because we are rendering, in this case, our move, which is a row in the table. We will need to wrap it in the body, table body, which is under a table. So yeah, you guys will do something very similar to this. This should be a quick exercise, and we can Discord it up.
Right. So let's come back at 4:20. But yeah, let's hop on the Discords for now.
Share my screen. Okay, so we should be able to align here. This is when our CSS comes to rescue. So in our CSS, we have our class name called moves table, which indents the table for a little bit. So what we can do right here is to add is to add this class name in this table. So class name equals to moves table. That's the correct name. Yes, moves table. And then we save it. And then we can see our table is not aligned. We can also do this little thing on top. So paragraph class name equals to Pokemon card bold, I believe. And then we can just put the text moves so that whoever is viewing it knows that this section is the table for the moves. Yeah. So now that we have our moves figured out, we can move on to our next step. Our next step is adding the API call to create Pokemon. So on our create Pokemon page, we currently have a form that looks like this with a bunch of input fields, and when we press the submit button, it triggers the submit function of this form. So what we want to do is when a user clicks the submit on the create Pokemon page, the Pokemon data that is defined by our input on the form will be sent to our API, and the user will be redirected to the view Pokemon page. And we can do this using event handlers. So a form has this special event called onSubmit, and this onSubmit event handler, in this event handler, we can create a JSON object from our inputs, and then we can use our API functions to send data to our API. So if you look at the function over here, it takes in an event. So the E is an event that just happened, in which case the E in this case is the event which the form gets submitted. If we use e.target, we will find the HTML element that triggered the event, so which is the form. And if we look at our source code over here, we have multiple children of our form that we can submit. So over here, and each of them have a different and unique name of their own. So move on power, name. This is how we access each specific children of the target. So if we do e.target.child name, we will return the child with the HTML element having that specific name. So if we do e.target.name.value, e.target.name will be referencing to the name input field. And if we do e.target.DSC, we will be referencing to the description input field. And if we put the dot value thing at the end, we will be accessing the current value of that child. So what we mean is, for example, if I put name was Maggie here, and I press the submit button and console log the event.target.name.value, it will console log Maggie. So now it's time for some live coding. What we're gonna do is we're gonna navigate to create Pokemon.jsx. First things first, because we are going to interact with our API on this page, we are going to import our API. So after we import our API, we need to bind our form to an event handler function. So remember, the function that triggers on the form submit is onSubmit. We'll call it create Pokemon. This is generally not good practice to put a function before defining it, but just for the sake of explaining the concepts, I'm gonna do it during the demo. So right now we can define our create Pokemon function. So const create Pokemon equals to, this is gonna be our create function, and it's gonna take in an event as an argument. Gonna give you guys a couple seconds to catch up. Yeah, please feel free to ask if you have any questions. So we're gonna start to think what data we are going to send to our sensor API. Event is deprecated. You can use E instead of like, you can name the event anything, like E or event, doesn't really matter. So we're gonna start to think about what data we want to send through our API. So remember during the last workshop or during part 4, when we were sending data through our Postman, we have this JSON object that has an inner object called Pokemon. So we will be doing the same here. We'll create an object. So let's just say const Pokemon equals to, let's make it a JSON object and put it in nest inside a JSON object called Pokemon. Actually, we can call it payload just for the sake of it. And inside this Pokemon object is where we are going to access our forms values. So remember what fields we have for our Pokemon? We have our name field. Oh, also, for the sake of saving our code and save our typing, we can do this line of code. So rec equals to e target. So what we do over here is that we send this event target to this request variable so that when we access the field values, we don't have to type out event.target.name. We can just do rec.name.value, which saves a lot of typing. So same thing here for description. Do rec.dsc. Make sure to do dsc over here because the name for description is dsc instead of description. Oh. We have our image. So image is currently not defined at this point because it will have to do with the canvassing that we will move on to after we're done with this part of coding. So we could just put whatever string we have, but don't leave it empty because according to our schema, image is required, so it cannot be left empty. Type 1 is, forgot a value over here. Type 1 value and type 2. And then we will have our moves, which makes sure it's an array. Within our array, we will have objects. So remember, each move will have name, type, and power. Over here, our name will be rec move1 value. Type will be rec move2 value. No, move1 type dot value. Power will be rec move1 power dot. Make sure to match your names over here with the names that you use to define the input fields, because otherwise the React will not recognize whatever value you're supposed to grab. So right now, what we're gonna do is we yank these 5 lines and we paste them, because these 4 moves are gonna be very similar to each other. So we can just change like move 1 to move 2 and move 3 and such on. And then before we actually interact with the API, we want to see that whether or not we have the correct data. So at the bottom, after we define this whole payload thing, we will console log our payload to make sure we have the correct data. So payload is currently a JSON object, which when we do console log on it, it will just log object. One thing we can do to make it expand into a string that we can actually read is calling json.stringify, and we pass in payload. Gonna give you guys a couple seconds to catch up with this section.
What was the difference between for, ID, and name again? So I remember like ID, I think is for CSS. Name.
ID can be used to ID can be used to hold on. So name is for labels to be able to reference to. So if you have name equals to move on power and we have HTML4 for move on power, it will tell the code that this label is the label for this input. And ID is kind of for style and also for grabbing data from the child. Yeah, so I think when you are using the .move on type, you are actually using the ID. My bad for messing up right there.
Then what does the label do again? I guess I forgot what the label does.
Oh, so label is for, let me go to my screen. So you see here's an input field, right? And then there's a text next to it.
Okay.
So this is the label and this is the input box.
Okay, and then so by having them have, and so by having name equal the label for, they're like put next to each other, I guess, or something.
It's still, I think you will still have the label and the input, you can still render them together, but style-wise, they will be aligned on the same line when it's possible. And also when you click on move one, the label, it will automatically focus on the input field. So if you don't establish this relationship, when you click on move one, this field will not focus.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess you guys are mostly caught up. So I can try to demonstrate what the data looks like. Developer tools is always a developer's best friend. So let's see, trying to test her code. Test, power 10. Trying to create a move over here. The power, make it 20. Oh, one thing I forgot one thing over here. So you guys saw that when I press submit, it just console logged for a split second and it just refreshed the page, right? Because it's using the default functionality of the form submit. So what we're gonna do over here is we insert a line called e.prevent default. You cannot increase power from 0. Wait, I can. So with e.prevent default, it will not automatically refresh the page or redirect or whatever. So let's try it again. Description, trying to test her code. Test. 10. Test 1, 2, 3. Power normal. 20. Now we're supposed to be able to see our data. So as you can see, we are grabbing data from our form. So the name, the image, description, our type, our types, our moves are all here. So we're good to go. We're good to interact with our API. Okay, let's go back. So remember our in our API.js, our function to create a Pokemon is called create Pokemon. So right here, an intuitive way to do it is called API.create Pokemon payload. But it will not work because, for example, we want some indication that our Pokemon is created. For example, we can alert create it successfully. Remember that creating Pokemon is a function that takes a little time because you gotta connect to the database, you gotta send your data to the database, and you gotta wait for a response. So by the time we actually finish this execution, the alert this alert would already go up. So we might get the false information that our Pokemon has already been created when it's indeed still pending, or maybe even going to be rejected. So one thing that we can do to prevent this is by putting a wait keyword in front of the API.create Pokemon. So it makes sure that this line will not run until this execution is fully completed. Also, a wait only applies to the lines that returns a JavaScript promise, which creating a Pokemon, a post request is one of them. Also, because we have the await keyword over here, we need to make this whole function async. All right, are we ready? Let's try to create our Pokemon. Let's try to create this exact same Pokemon. Let's try to submit it, but nothing pops up. Nothing is indicating that we have created the Pokemon successfully. What happened? So we have a problem over here. It has an unhandled promise rejection warning saying that moves2.name is required, moves.2.type is required, and moves.3 and moves.3.type is also required. What happened? What caused our code to act like this? So if you look closely at our data over here, we do not have a name for our third and fourth move because this Pokemon, we don't really have a third or fourth move. But if you look at our backend schema in our move.js, if you have a move object that's being sent to the backend database, you're required to have a string that's a type, and you're also required to have a name that's a string. So how do we exactly fix this problem? Here's where JavaScript array comes to rescue. So the idea is we want to only send the moves where we have defined both the name and type to the backend, because otherwise we'll receive an error. What we can do over here is to save temporarily the input of our data on the form to a temporary object. Let's call it unfiltered moves. And we can just yank this whole thing and paste it over here. Oh my God, this indent is terrible. So unfiltered moves will now hold the initial data that we have on our page. Give you guys a couple seconds to do this. And now how we filter this array is that we have this function in JavaScript array called filter. So it returns an array that we're just gonna call valid moves. equals to unfilter moves dot filter. So filter kind of acts similarly to map. It takes in an anonymous function that also returns something, and let's call the argument to the anonymous function move. And then when we return here, it's going to be whether the move has its name and its type defined. So what this means is you take the unfiltered moves array and then filter it based on whether or not the move's name is not empty and the move's type is not empty. And if this condition returns true, this element in the unfiltered moves, this move, will be added to valid moves. Let's see what the chat is doing. Okay. Okay, I think I have it handled over here. So as of the moves that we pass in to our API, we can just use valid moves. Yeah, the unhandled rejection is because we are passing in some moves that don't have the name or type, but the backend does not accept it, does not allow it. Are you guys good to move on to testing this thing over here? Okay, I will just move on. So right now, JavaScript doesn't really care about semicolons, but for integrity's sake, I just try to add the semicolons after like every function call. So like maybe declaring a JavaScript object, JSON object, and after I do each function call. So it's a personal preference mostly for JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't really care about semicolons. So let's see if we can create our Pokemon right now. Okay, we have successfully created our Pokemon. And if you go to view all Pokemon, you will see a new Pokemon called Maggie that's trying to test her code. Okay, we kind of don't have a lot of time to catch up, but I will move on to the next part of our plan. We have our Pokemon card set up, and now all that's left is for us to scribble out our Pokemon. So we'll be utilizing an open source library called React Canvas Draw. So please run right now in npm install React Canvas Draw so that we can start using it when we start to code. So I will do it right now, honestly. Okay, so npm install save. We don't need save anymore. React Canvas Draw. Okay, I'll just let it run as we continue with the slides. And yeah, make sure to be under a client folder, which I'm not. So cd client and npm install React Canvas Draw. So if you go on the website over here, it's actually a GitHub repo that introduces some usage and some props and some functions that can be used to customize our own canvases. Getting an error while installing. React Canvas Draw. Oh. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's called React Canvas Draw. I did not know that React 17 will prevent this from installing.
Okay. So is everyone else having issues too, installing it?
If anyone else is having trouble, please let us know in the chat. Okay. This is actually really weird. Oh my god. I will go
Yeah,
back to the...
we'll wait a bit to resolve this.
Yeah.
I'll also try, make sure it works.
Oh, we try to make sure everyone can install it. Yeah, just play around with these examples. Right, so we can go over. So hopefully most of you got to take a chance to look at the demos, and it seems like a really powerful tool that we can use to help us draw our Pokemon. So now that we know what it can do, it's time to think about what we want our canvas to look like or do. So if we look at this, wait, what? If you look at this example over here, this is a default canvas draw with the default settings. It has some stuff that we don't really like. So it has the grid, a lot of grid displays, which will not really fit well in with our Pokemon cards. Also, we don't really want this thing over here. We want our brush to be slightly like smaller. And we also want to be able to change our color. We want to be able to save our data, to be able to load our data. We want to do a lot of things. So how exactly are we going to accomplish these things? Okay, seems like React Canvas Draw has finished installing for me. So I will just start live coding this part. So in create Pokemon.jsx, we will do import canvas. Oh, canvas. Let me check the usage. So the usage is very useful because it can tell you what to import and from which package. Canvas Draw from React Canvas Draw. Gonna pause for a few seconds for the people who are still installing or trying to catch up. Okay. So within our form, because this canvas draw is still holds some data that we want to submit to our API, so we're going to put our form under put our canvas under the form. So we have a div that wraps the form that says, let's give it a class name called called drawing. If this is a, let's see. Oh, we don't really have it. Okay. What's the drawing? And then we'll just put a very simple, without anything modified canvas draw. So if you go to our view, create new Pokemon page, we have this thing over here, which is basically what we're seeing over here on this very example. So in order to change the look of our canvas, we're gonna look into some properties. So notice that under the default props, there's this thing called hide grid, which makes me happy because it means we can hide the grid. And also we can use the hide interface to hide this like radius thing. And we can even change our brush radius and lazy radius. So this is perfect. Let's try to change some properties of our canvas draw. Going back to our code. Let's do canvas draw hide grid equals to true. Hide interface is also true. Brush radius, let's make it 5 pixels. Lazy radius, let's make it 0. And let's see what it looks like right now. Go back. It might take a little while to recompile. See if there's any errors in the console. Oh, it's back to number. So we're having a problem here. It's recompiling. It's okay to run into problems when you're coding. Just try to debug it. That's what the console is for. Let me see what's wrong with my code. Maybe I need to change my brush radius also to a integer, to a number. Yes, the console is indeed a dev's best friend. Come on, seriously? Hide grid of our string is set expected Boolean.
So I think your Booleans should also be like Booleans and not strings.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so none of these props should be strings. They should all be like ints or bools.
True. Taking a while to debug. So right now we have our canvas that we can draw on. It worked. Giving you guys a couple seconds to catch up. up to this point. Also, in order to give us give our canvas an outline, we can kind of add a class called drawing, border 1 pixel, solid, black. See if it does anything. Yeah, now we have an outline to our canvas. Okay, so now that we can make the canvas look like what we want it to look like, there's something that we try to do with our drawings is we can currently only draw in the default color. We cannot change colors. But in our solution, in our goal, we can have the user choose their own colors. So how exactly do we do this? We go to this example over here. So notice that this example can change the colors of your current input. And luckily, the author provided us with their source code. So we can open their source code in the new tab. To see what they did to be able to change this color. So we go into index.js. And we see, scroll down to the background current color. Custom brush color. So you see that this over here has a canvas draw with brush color with a dynamic color. So the color is stored as a state in this component, and we can do something similar to something similar to change the color. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're going to create a, oh, let's see chat. We're going to create a state called color under create Pokemon page. So remember, in order to use state, we need to import useState from React. And over here, we can create a state called current color. Current color, set current color equals to useState. And then we can make our color customizable. So we can use this property called brush color that the demo also used to change the color. So brush color equals to current color. This is not completely dynamic yet, but we can see on our page that the color is not completely black. And if we want to change it to maybe something like blue, the brush color will also change. So we can specify the color of the brush using a state, but how can we make the users choose their own color? I will leave this up for a moment. So, okay, so what we're gonna do right here is, if we go back to our demo code, we have a color select field. So whenever you select a new color, the brush color changes. We're going to implement that thing. Oh, I was not sharing my screen earlier, but if you want to see the functionality in Act, it looks something like this. So you can pick whatever color you want, and the brush color will change accordingly. So what we're gonna do over here is we're going to add, we're going to add a button at the bottom of this canvas. Let's just give this division a name with all the buttons. Canvas options. And then we'll have a input type equals to color. So if we go back, we'll see this. We can also create a label. So for it, so it says select color. So let's give it a name. Equals to color picker. And then we can have a label. Label HTML4 equals to color picker. Pick a color. Okay, so we have this function. We have this color picker over here. It's very nice. Let's just pick the colors. And what we can do over here is adding an event handler function to the current input. So let's define an onChange function. Let's call it color change. Define our color change function here. Color change equals to, because we're getting value from this current input, so we still need to pass a e as an argument to the function. So first thing first, e.prevent default. And then we're going to change the state of the color to whatever is currently in this input. So set current color e.target.value. So the reason why we don't have an extra dot over here, because e.target is already locked down to a single input, so we don't have to access its individual children. See if it works. Give it a pink color. yo, we can pick our own color now, which is epic. So we don't have a lot of time. I will continue moving on. So we will need to add 2 more buttons. One is to undo the changes, and the other one is to clear the canvas. But
I just want to say chat is disabled.
Yeah, for some reason chat's disabled. Okay, cool.
Yo, I thought I was being silenced. Okay, leave.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, you are not being silenced.
I didn't even do
Very
anything.
nice.
What the heck even happened? Okay, let me figure it out. You can keep going. Let me figure this out.
Okay. So so it's also the source code for this demo. And then you notice that in the documentation, it has these functions called clear and undo. And these 2 things over here called clear and undo on this canvas. But what is this savable canvas? So let's search it up. Savable canvas. So what it did over here is it created a reference that's called savable canvas and referenced it to canvas draw. This is kind of a very weird and complex syntax, but luckily in React, we have our good old friend called useRef. So what useRef does is it creates a reference, and how it works is this: cast current canvas equals to useRef. So it created a reference called current canvas. And what we can do to access the canvas, to make the current canvas reference to our canvas draw component, is by adding ref equals to current canvas. So now we can access the canvas by, hold on, what's the chat doing? Oh, shoot. Yeah, we'll push the code after we are done with the workshop. So now we can access our canvas by using current canvas.current. How is that useful? So we can add 2 buttons over here. Actually move it out of the two buttons. One is to undo and one is to clear. So button undo and this button called clear. As usual, we need to define onClick functions for both of these buttons. So undo canvas and equals to clear canvas. Okay, so sorry for moving on really fast because we don't really have time. We still need to talk about deployment after this. So Now we can declare our event handler functions. Const undo canvas equals to, we don't really need an event argument in here because we're just going, what we do over here has nothing to do with the button itself. So we'll just do current canvas dot current dot undo. How do we know to use the undo function? We know it because it's in the documentation. So documentation is another developer's best friend. You can see over here, the undo and clear functions. So if we go back and we need to declare another function, const clear canvas equals to, again, we don't need to pass in an event over here. So we can do current canvas, current dot clear. Let's see if these work. Oh, there we go. Oops. This is some style to fix for later. But for right now, we can undo. And we can also clear the canvas. Why are we having this? It's because we didn't put e.prevent default. So that it's trying to refresh the page every time we click the button. No. Brain fried. It has nothing to do with prevent default, but it probably has to do with the fact that I declared them as buttons. So whenever I click on them, they try to do the submit action. So let's do input type equals to button for these two. Button. Input. Input type equals to button. Input. See if it works. Let's see. Yes, if you're using e.prevent default, you do need to pass in e.
Maggie, I think you can also do, you can keep what you had earlier where there were button elements. And if you use e.prevent default, I think that will prevent the button from submitting the form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense because we just need to pass in an e. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so just assuming this works, just to give clarity to what prevent default does, it just normally, like Maggie said, the button will submit the form because the button's inside a form component or a form element. But if we prevent default, it prevents the default action of submitting.
Okay, so let's see if reloading the thing can make this thing work. Let's try undoing. Oh, yes, it's not working. And if we try to click on clear, it just clears the current canvas.
Okay. Yo, Maggie, since there's like some people falling behind, do you mind like posting the current canvas code? Unless that's it.
Okay.
Is anyone like really behind and needs the code? You can honestly just send like the entire like create
entire file. Okay. Let's see. Sorry for moving really fast because I know Canvas can be really confusing, but we just need to cover a lot of stuff before we finish today.
All right. Yeah, but if anyone's like not compiling, code's not compiling, just like take Maggie's. Yeah. I mean, really, yeah. We could. I'll
try to.
Yeah, just put it in the Discord or make like a paste bin or something.
Okay. Honestly, I will just do repl. Hold on, let me create a repl right now.
Just like, yeah, paste it in your same repl.
JavaScript. Create Pokemon. Public. Come on.
You can just Control A, by the way.
Yeah, it's not working on my VS Code because I have Vim binding.
Oh, okay.
So Control plus A is not doing anything. All right, here we go. Should I send it in the chat or on the Discord?
Just like link it in the, yeah, you do chat.
Okay. Well, this is not what I wanted to happen. So if anyone needs the code, it's right here. In the meantime, I'm going to move this whole section, this whole chunk into here so that it actually looks decent at least. Okay. So styles we can always fix later, but we kind of have to move on from here. So right now we can draw our canvas, but we still need to submit our drawing to the database. So it's actually pretty simple. We just replace this image with current canvas dot current dot get saved data. So what get saved data does is it basically gets all the canvas drawings on here and sends the data to returns a string that represents this data, this drawing. Okay. So after we get the saved data, we're mostly done with the canvas on the Create Pokemon page. And now we need another canvas in the Pokemon card component. So under here, we can also do the same, similar thing. Import, let's see what the chat is doing. Oh yeah, make components capitalized. Yeah, we need to view the drawings right now. So import canvas draw from React canvas draw. And then we can also have a canvas draw component over here. And then we will need to define a bunch of properties such as hide grid equals true. Hide. Let's see if we have other properties that we can grab really quick. Disabled should be true because we don't want people to be able to draw on our viewing. So disabled is also true. Hide interface is true. see what happens in our code. Still loading our data. So we have our canvas is our left side, which is good. And another property that it takes in is called save data. So remember how when we were trying to create our Pokemon, we were getting the save data, right? So right now, we're trying to figure out the save data that will let us load the drawing based on the string. So there's the other function over here called load save data. So we'll load a string and load a previously saved drawing using the save data string. So let's see what we can do using this. Going back to VS Code. So we are going to define our property called save data equals to load save data props image. So right now what we are doing is that we are going to load the data that we currently saved into our API and into a drawing that can be presented on the canvas. Yeah, if you guys are falling behind, don't worry too much because I will be posting all the solution code to our repo. Let's actually see what save data is. So if we go into save data is no. Let's see if props image. Okay. All right, in the main component, what do you mean by shouldn't apply?
Okay, so one thing is React components like have to be uppercase. Like that is like how it compiles. Like even if you make it lowercase, like the React will treat it as a JSX component or a JSX like element. So I can link a Stack Overflow for this. But yeah, one thing is like that is how React works, is that it has to be capital. And for office hours, we can probably do one more week and then no more after that.
Yeah, we'll do one more week. But like as always, like we're always here. So if you need anything,
yeah, just like ping us.
Yeah, just ping us and like one of us will help you out. Like we're not going anywhere, honestly.
Okay. So our save data is going to be props.image, taking a string. This is throwing errors, I think, basically because
so I'm going to interject for a second.
Images are having a problem.
Right. So yeah, if you guys like made or like sent data before making the images, you'll have to go into MongoDB and delete the ones that didn't have like the actual drawing.
Yeah.
Because the component has no idea how to render like lol or like whatever Maggie had. So you're gonna have to like head over to MongoDB and then delete those ones. And deleting is really straightforward. It's like in the UI.
Do you think we should try to delete them and like render the images right now, or do we have enough time for deployment?
Yeah, we can do that right now.
Okay.
Just to make
Sorry,
sure.
guys.
Yeah, deployment is not very complicated, so don't worry. Like, we might have to go a little over, but like, it's really straightforward.
We'll try to end like 6:15.
Like at the latest.
At the latest, yeah.
We'll try our best to be done earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. It's taking forever to load my MongoDB, so. But for everyone who can connect to MongoDB right now, you can delete your previously saved Pokemon and try to test the current code out. I will actually copy and paste this whole thing as well. Oh. So we're going to repo.it for everyone who needs to catch up. Okay, does anyone know how to delete the data without accessing MongoDB? Because it sometimes takes forever for me to load.
Okay, so I can explain how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. So if you're on the main clusters page, you can, or I can share my screen.
Okay, yeah, please share your screen.
Yeah.
I will stop sharing my screen so you can share yours.
Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, you can see this is like the main dashboard. What you want to do is hit collections, and then you should see your data right here. So I already deleted mine, but what you want to do is you want to delete all the ones that don't have this image of like lines and points and whatever. So how you do that is just you click this delete document and then click delete for all the ones that don't have this image. So once you hit delete, it'll just delete the document and then it's gone.
It's having trouble accessing the collections for me right now, so I'll give it a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once that happens, it should load properly. Yeah.
You can share my screen.
You can see like this is what it should look like. Oh yeah, let me.
Okay, it's taking kind of forever for me to load my collections. So actually, Sheva, if you have the code, do you want to like just continue because my MongoDB is not working?
I'll do it, yeah.
Just take over for me, please. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, we're basically done. Like once that works, then like your component, your complete website should work. So we can try this out. And my styling is a little different, but if we get a Pokemon called Shrub and Harihar and Resume, resume. Yeah, we'll do Ghost Drag. Yeah, eat curry. Latex hog. But yeah, I could just resume. Cool. It should create successfully, and then we can head over to view Pokemon, and then get our resume component. All right, cool. Anyone have any questions, or is it like not working for anyone? Otherwise, we can continue.
I asked people to raise your hands in the participants window
Dude, I like can't see my Zoom for some reason. Like it, like Zoom isn't even open on my computer.
Yeah, I know. When you share screen, Zoom just goes away for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
wait, I swear it's like it vanished.
I don't know why. The price is good. It's so sad for Bryce.
Oh, Bryce still can't compile.
Oh my, oh no. Okay, hopefully when you deploy, it can compile. You can test if it works.
Okay, I like deadass can't see Zoom right now. It's like not even like running on my computer. So like if anyone has questions, like vocally say it, or like Daniel like interject or something. Okay, this is some sus shit.
Okay.
All right.
Maggie, can you like push the code you have to the repo right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just do it right now so that like
yeah, so that people can just,
if they need to, it's like
copy paste that.
Get that, yeah. Yoink. Okay.
All right, but in the meanwhile, I can kind of go over some like stretch goals over here. So yeah, that was a really long session of coding. And we're basically done with our code. After that, you can see like we can create and view our Pokemon. But here's a couple things. Let me present this. But here's a couple things that we can do to advance our application, or if you guys are interested in continuing development. So one thing we can do is filter by type, just see all the Pokemons that have a specific type. And we can also make our moves, like our styling of our moves better by having colors. So if you can see in our main application, that's what we have. We have like filtering and move colors. So we have instructions on how you can do that here. I think my Zoom's back. Let's go. All right, back from the dead. Okay. But yeah, that's some stretch goals, and this slide is here in case anyone wants to continue development. Okay, cool. So let's talk about a little bit deployment. This is like more conceptual. So if you guys still want to, or like need to figure out your code, you can do that like while I'm going over this. So yeah, what is deployment? So you can see right now our computer, or on our application is running on a front end and running on a back end, right? But we're running them locally. So we have our localhost 3000 for our client, and then localhost 5000 for our server. The problem is no one can actually access our application but ourselves. Well, that may or may not be a problem, but ideally you want other people to view your own application. So how we do that is we deploy our front end and our back end to different servers using third-party web services, where users can visit those servers or visit in a specific URL and actually see our website. So I'll go into a little bit about platform as a service. You're going to hear this term quite a bit in your like software engineering career, or like software as a service, platform as a service. But basically, they're products that provide a platform for us to use. And two of these are Netlify and Heroku. So Netlify is where we're going to be deploying our front end, just because it has more useful tools for managing front ends. And like specifying a domain and like security and like DNS and all that stuff. While Heroku is generally better suited for deploying backends. And actually our membership portal is our membership portal front ends on Netlify and our backends on Heroku. Okay, so the first thing we need to do before actually deploying our applications is we need to push our code to GitHub. This is important because these servers actually look at our GitHub repos and take the code from that and run that and then deploy that. So I guess we need to make sure everyone has like functional applications, so we can take a couple minutes to make sure everyone has like functional code before we actually deploy it to GitHub. But this is the general process. You're going to add your files and commit it and then push it to master. And you should have forked the repository early on in like workshop 0. So that fork, that fork is where your code will exist, and like where other people can see your code. So we can take some time to do that, but I'll go ahead and kind of demo that. So yeah, here we're in Hack School, our Hack School repository. Make sure you're at the root. And what we want to do is you can do Git Status to kind of see like what we modified and what we haven't. That's bad highlighting. But yeah, you see there's a lot of files you need to commit. And for you guys, it's probably like every single file you have to commit. So what we can do is git add -a, right? So that'll add all your files to staging. So you do git status, and then all your files are there. And then we can do git commit -m, like finish project. So this will just do a git commit message. And generally, you can do past or present tense. It doesn't really matter. But I think more convention is for present tense. And then what you want to do is you want to do git push origin master. Since you all should be on master in your repositories, this will work like just fine, and it'll push to master. But I'm not going to do it because I'm on part 6, and Maggie's pushing her code to part 6. And we're going to take that code and put it onto master. But yeah, you should run git push origin master, and then your code will be pushed there. And if anyone has any problems with that, then like let us know in the chat. Is there a development branch? I think we have it on master, like the main repository. Yeah. Here we can see Github. Yeah, you should be pushing to like this branch. If you're on a separate branch, then what you can do is you can do this. So if you're on a separate branch like I am, what is this highlighting? Okay, if you're on a separate branch like I am on part 6, or I think Bryce was on like development, then what you can do is make sure you commit everything first like I did, and then do git checkout master, and then git merge, and then whatever branch you were on that you developed on. So for us, it's part 6. So it'll merge like every single file. And then you can do git push origin master, but you want to be on master because that's where like it's like the main branch. And yeah, you should be able to clone the solution code in a separate branch. So like for us, you basically do exactly what we just did, what I just did, because Maggie's pushing to part 6. And please don't deploy node modules. Node modules is only like local, because that's like a gigabyte of storage. So you don't want that. Okay, but I'm going to move on and just like show how you can deploy your application. And then it's very simple steps. And like after the workshop, you can like fix your code and try to like deploy that or ask us for helps. And yeah, the steps are, so we can do git checkout master. So this will move your branch from whatever branch you are to master, and we're already on master. And then you do git merge, and then whatever branch you are on. So you're merging that branch to master. Okay, so I'm going to move on and show how you can use Heroku and Netlify to deploy your applications. Okay, so yeah, we're currently on, we'll go back to part 6. Actually, we can just use master, so do git status. All right, so git push origin master. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see now our master, our ACMUC Hack School Fall 20 master is fully updated with our project. So we have a client, a server, and a README. Okay, so let's move on to deployment. Okay. Okay, so one more thing we do have to configure before deployment is MongoDB. So you guys should have Atlas open from deleting your Pokemon. But one thing we do need to do is whitelist all our, or allow all our IPs. Because one thing we're going to do is we need Heroku to be able to connect to our database. And right now we only have it on our current IP. Which is bad because then Heroku's not running on our internet connection. Heroku's running on a different server hosted by Salesforce. I think they own Heroku. So like Salesforce's servers are running our application and not us. So we need to allow network access. So you can head over to MongoDB and then head over to network access. And you want to make sure that the IP is 000.0. So you can go to edit, and then you want to be able to, there'll be an option here, allow all IP addresses. For me, it's already 0.0.0.0. So yeah, you want to click allow. Cool. Okay, so we can move on to Heroku deployment. So this is all you need to deploy. It's just on the slide. So we're going to create an account. We're going to install the CLI. So it's like a command line interface. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run these commands, and then our application will be deployed. So pretty straightforward. So let's do that. All right, so we'll go over to Heroku. So yeah, we can create an account. ACM hack. Let's go. Roll. Other. So none of this stuff really matters. This is just for like creating an account. And if you already have an account, feel free to use that. But I'm gonna demo a fresh account. Okay, and I'll confirm this. I'm doing this on my phone, so you guys can't see it. But it's gonna ask you to create a password and then confirm a password. So go ahead and do that. And then once you create a password, once you create your password, then you can just log in. But give me like a minute to do this. Okay, cool. So I'm going to Heroku.com and log in. All right, cool. So this is, oh, you can see all my applications here, but yeah. So, all right, so now we have to create our, install the Heroku CLI. So what we can do is we're gonna install the CLI and then deploy our code using the CLI. So you can follow the instructions here for Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. So download the installer. All right. So yeah, it's just standard installations. Yeah, while this is installing, we can see what we can do next. Depending on your machine, it'll take some time to install, but once it's installed, we're going to want to run these commands. So what we're going to do is create an app, or create a Heroku application. We can call it whatever we want. One thing to note is it does have to be unique. Oh, you can't see my screen. Can you see the slides? Oh, that's not good. Okay, Zoom's freaking figuring out. All right. Okay. But yeah, right now I should just be installing. So, bro, Zoom's like not even running on my machine. I swear.
You want me to? I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, please do. Like I'm trapped in here. Okay, there we go. Dude, I did not know what was going on. All right.
Okay, so you can share again.
Yeah. All right. Are we good? Can we?
Yeah, there you go. There you
go. Okay, cool. So I am just installing this. So, all right, you guys can still see this, right? Are we good? All right, I'm assuming we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to create an application, set our config variables, the same ones we have in our .env files, and then we're going to push our, this is a gnarly command, but what we're doing is we're going to push our server folder, right? So that's what this is doing. Git subtree push prefix server. So that's pushing our server folder to the Heroku origin, which is going to be created once we do Heroku Create. So we'll just wait for this to install. All right, cool. Okay, so yeah, let's hop into our application. So we can do ls. Make sure you're in the root directory. And when we run Heroku, this command should work now. So you can see this is our CLI. And one thing you will need to do, and I probably should have added this slide, is just make sure you log in. So do Heroku login so that you're logged into your account. So this will just pop up the browser. And you're going to want to just log in. And that should be it. So yeah. Cool. So just type Heroku. And yeah, everyone should see this. All right, so we'll just do Heroku Create and then our application name. So this has to be unique, so we can't all do the same one. What we can just do is like Pokemon generator PogChamp. Cool. So this is where our application will lie, right here. So we're going to visit that for our backend to be published. So we can go back to the slides. So we're going to need to set our config variables. So this is the same variables that we have in our server. So we can head over to API config and our .env files. So we can see that we just want these configs. So we'll just copy these commands. So Heroku config :set database URL equals that, and save moving forward. So config set port equals 1000. And this will take some time. And then we can do the same thing for the database URL. Oh, yeah, there we go. So one error you guys might have, I think on Mac and Linux, one thing you might have to do is wrap this in quotations. So I'll just make sure I do that too. But yeah, you want to wrap these in quotations because there's like some special characters in here that need to be escaped. I think this question mark here, Bash like freaks out about that. So what is this? Okay, I think we're good. So yeah, once we set that, we can hop back over and see we want to push our Git subtree. So let's just copy this. And you can see, you can know that what remotes you have by doing git remote. And you can see that we have a Heroku and an origin. So origin is the GitHub repo you cloned from or that you forked. And then Heroku is the one that we need to push to. So I'll just copy and paste this. So Heroku should be global. Like you should be able to run it anywhere. Are you on Windows or Mac or Linux, Jonah? Okay. That is whack. Yeah, it normally should. Did you did the same installation link? Yeah, I did program files for mine. Okay, cool. So it says we've deployed it, so we can hop over to our link. Copy and paste this. And we can see cannot get slash. So which is good because we don't have a slash link. So if we do /API/Pokemon, we can see our Pokemon. And this is all the behind the scenes that's going on with the image. It actually stores like every single brush stroke for the image. And you can see we have our thing. So yeah, now we have our Heroku app not local anymore. It's like completely on the internet. Okay, so I'll speed run the Netlify thing because we're already at 6. But all the installation instructions are on the slides. So you can I'll just make sure to add login here. And we have Heroku login. But yeah, let's go over to Netlify deployment. All right, cool. So now that we deployed our Heroku app right here, we need to prep to deploy our front end to Netlify. So this is just a thing that we have to do for React apps to work on Netlify. We need to add a client/public/redirects folder. And what this does, and with the contents of this, and what this does, it'll tell Netlify to redirect all the requests to just / to be /index.html. And we want that because React will generate this index.html file. And that's where our like create Pokemon component will be rendered. So let's do that. We can head over to public and then _redirects. And then just copy and paste this from the slides. And I'll put it in the chat too. Where am I going? Right here. All right, cool. So now that we have this, let's deploy it to Netlify. So we got to do a very similar process. We need to create an account, we need to create a project, and then we need to create it off of our GitHub repo. So one thing we do need to do is actually push our code. to make sure that Netlify knows what's up. So if we do git status, we can see that we have just this redirect thing. So we could do git add dash all git commit and then git push origin master. Cool. So now that we have that, what we can do, let me hide this. Okay, so now what we can do is create a Netlify account. So let's do that. So we can sign up. And then I'll sign up with email. You guys can use one of these if you want. No hack. Cool. And I'll just confirm this again. Okay. So now this should take us to our application. So you should see something similar, or if you have to like do some setup beforehand, it might ask you for like what your name is. I kind of just like skip that because you can just skip that. But yeah, now we're on our Netlify stream. I'll just close this out. But yeah, we have this dashboard going on here. And yeah, we want to create a new site from Git right here. So what we want to do is to connect to GitHub. And I'll just go ahead and okay, yeah, cool. So now that we're connected to GitHub, I'll just head over to ACM UCSD. You see all these. We'll search for Hack School Fall 20. Cool. So yeah, we're going to deploy from this. You guys should deploy from your own fork of the repo. Or if you want to deploy from ours, you can. But yeah, here we have this setup. So for our build command, so you can see this is my team. One-man gang, let's go. We want to deploy from master, and so do you. And we're going to want to build our application. So how we build our application, we can hop over to our package JSON. What we want to do is npm run build. So this will build our React application, and then Netlify can use that, what's built, right? Because Netlify, we don't want Netlify to like install React and like have that running, like do npm start. We just wanted to build it and then just use the index.html file that's here. And this will generate, all our components will be generated here. So what we want to do is npm run build. And what publish directory, what we can do is the directory deploy after running the build command. That doesn't really matter. We could just have it be like build though. So let's have it as build. So a build folder will be created and then deployed there. So there's one more piece of config that we need, and that's actually not declared here. So click deploy site, and then it'll crash because one thing that it doesn't know is that we needed to tell it to go into client, right? It'll just try to deploy this application and be like, bruh, there's no package.json, I can't do anything. So make sure we want to make sure to specify to go into client. So yeah, it'll say site deploy failed, but who cares? So let's head over here, and then head to build and deploy, and then here, base directory. We want to set this. So this is under build and deploy, and we want to set a base directory as client. And then now it'll deploy to client/build. Cool. And now we want to deploy again. So we head over to deploys and then trigger deploy. So we can see actually what's happening in the deployment. Yeah, so basically what it's doing is installing our packages and then running the build script and then checking out the index.html. So let's take a minute.
Wait, Trevin, Bryce is asking in chat if there was anything we needed to put for the publish directory.
Oh, yeah, you just put build. That way Netlify knows to like spit all the build stuff into like the build directory. So yeah, just make sure it's build. All right, but yeah, you can see our site is live star. So let's preview this. But yeah, you can see we have this very jank website here, but like here, this is our full application. So base directory is client, and then it should be client/build. But yeah, here's our application, like actually deployed. You guys can, like, I'll copy and paste this here, and like you can literally visit that and show your application to the world. And we can.
Yeah, wait, paste your, if you get this deployed, paste your URLs.
Yeah, we could create some we can have some Pokemon contests, drawing contests here on your application. All right, Bryce, let's fix your code after this. We'll draw like a.
Oh no, it failed. Oh no, Bryce. You can check the build logs. I know in Netlify somewhere you can check the logs and see what the error is. What the heck?
Boom. Daniel is angry.
I'm not.
All right, let's fix people's code. But yeah, if it did work, that's awesome. Congratulations. We're actually done. That's pretty much it.
Oh, no.
Okay, so one thing you might have an issue with in submitting is, and yeah, we definitely need to fix that, is actually, if you head over to api.js, this server is still pointing to our local host.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm only allowed to submit on my website. So what you want to do is you want to make this the Heroku URL. So that's an issue. So let's like go and see, grab our Heroku URL. So grab this.
Oh, you can submit on R. Oh, on Shevins, on Shevins. Oh.
Yeah, because it's connected to my local host. So yeah, we just need to change that and then git add.
So I believe it's it should automatically be configured. So every time you push to master or to the branch, sorry, every time you push to the branch, it'll.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We just need to commit it first.
Yeah. Engine.
But yeah, if you made it this far, we're basically done. Like that's it for Hack School. You now have a front end and a back end, both deployed. But if you haven't reached this point, then we'll help you out because yeah, that was a lot of code in the first part. But yeah, you can see that a new deploy is going to happen on Heroku or on Netlify.
How am I going to learn Docker without Hack School?
Oh man!
You know what? You can do it. We have taught you skills that aren't necessarily Docker, but you can learn Docker yourself. Stay tuned for a potential workshop. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of potential workshops, Mr. Daniel, do you want to link our?
Yes. Let me
Thank you, Rakesh, for the perfect opportunity to plug our workshop ideas.
Friendly reminder / segue. All right. Everyone, I don't care if your code doesn't work right now, please fill out this form, hack request. Basically, we're just trying to plan for winter quarter right now. And so we've listed a couple of potential workshop ideas we might do.
If you want a Docker workshop, we will give you a Docker workshop.
Yes,
just tell us that you want a Docker workshop.
We will give anything y'all want. Just please put it down.
If you want a Rust workshop, if you want a Kubernetes at scale workshop.
There are a few things. If you want like a PHP, or if you want like a
if you want to know how to build the next Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, we will do that too. We will
teach you, except it won't be written in PHP.
You want $1 million?
We'll teach you how to make $1 million.
Teach you how to become a millionaire.
We'll teach you how to become a millionaire. With our
You can become Garrett as a millionaire. You can become the next tech lead.
Oh my.
You want to know how to play League? Ask Jacob. He knows how to play League.
Oh my God. Yes, we will do anything.
And congratulations.
Oh my God, Bryce, it worked.
What the? That's not supposed to happen. No, I'm kidding. Good job, Bryce.
Wait, what? Wait, Bryce, link the thing.
Oh yes, congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations. Let's go, Jovial Hamilton.
It doesn't work locally, but it works.
What the? Oh, does the form not work? Give me a sec.
Oh, is that why we haven't here?
Yeah, is that why we have 0 responses?
I understand now, I think. Honestly, why the forms are the death of me. I cannot figure it. I don't know why I can never. Okay, here. Add. Okay, here we go.
Yo, this is Bryce's application. Let's go.
Link.
Dude, I'm gonna draw. All right, I'm gonna tattoo myself on Bryce's application.
Wait, okay. Does this URL work? Wait, what? Wait, what?
Wait, what's happening?
What do you mean you can edit the form? What?
What the fuck?
Wait, what? Oh my. I don't understand. Hold up.
If you're here, thank you. Thanks for sticking with us for 6 workshops. I know we lost a lot of people from the first workshop, but like you guys are the real ones. If you're at this point, like, thank you so much. And one thing we will say is, now that you've completed Hack School, if you want to do other projects like side projects, or if you want to like join development team, make sure you let us know that you've actually done Hack School, because that'll give you like a competitive advantage towards other people, because we know that you've received like quality education from your fellow ACM board members. So
yes, we're gonna work with side projects to see if we can get y'all some consideration.
So if you're interested, I know some of you are in side projects right now. Shout out to Bryce and Rakesh, and maybe other people. Let me know if you're in side projects. But yes, do join side projects. It's a very valuable development experience.
Yeah. And we taught y'all a lot this quarter. Like there's been a lot of information. Just know that everything we taught, like you'll just keep getting better at it over time if you keep like making your own projects, keep doing your own things. And our goal has always been to just give you the tools to kind of let you do your own thing. And so just keep on coding, keep on trying to make cool projects, and share us some of your like awesome projects that you make in the future. Yeah, I think Oh my God, why do you have to form? Okay, I need to.
Daniel, you've let out a
Oh my.
lot of people here. All right, I'll stop sharing my screen then.
All right.
I can't because Zoom doesn't know. I can't, like, Daniel, take me away, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me take you.
Like, I don't know what's happening.
Take you away. Okay, stop sharing. Yes.
Okay, sweet.
Right. So yeah, if you when you get your deployments working, like I know like Henry has his office hours today. I think we'll all host office hours again next week. But if you get your deployments working, please post it in the Hack School Discord so we can see your awesome Pokemon generator. Thank you, Rakesh. I don't play Roblox, I just have it. All right.
Dude, Roblox has hella hard OAs.
Holy. Okay. I think we can either we can just hop on Discord if you have like if you want to get more help with your like your code.
Yeah, but yeah, we're done here. So if you have any questions, like hit us up on Discord. But like otherwise, thank you guys so much for coming. Like we really appreciate coming through to these workshops.
Yeah.
And, yeah.